Fight, fight, fight! We have two of my favorite wines, Barolo versus Barbaresco. I'm going to compare these wines, share with them what's right for you. That's all coming up. Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to Exotic Wine Travel, and today I am super excited. I gotta zip up my vest here, tasting some big boy wines I'm very excited about. We have Barolo versus Barbaresco. If you are watching this show, you probably know what these wines are. But if you don't know, Barolo and Barbaresco are two appellations in Piedmont, Italy. This is a region located in northwest Italy. It's considered a mecca for food and wine lovers, home of the slow food movement. Barolos and Barbarescos are made entirely 100% out of the great grape Nebbiolo. Considered to be one of Italy's, maybe the world's greatest red grapes, only has great results in this part of Italy. People have tried to take it outside the country with varying amounts of success, but really the magical wines are made here. Barolo was one of the first Italian appellations. In the early 1960s it was formed, Barbaresco soon after that. Barolo is often considered to be the king of red wines in Italy, while they say Barbaresco is the queen, but in no means is it a second-tier citizen. In fact, a lot of times I think I prefer to drink Barbarescos, especially young ones, over Barolos. I have been to the region several times, and you know what I find shocking has been Barolo, because the prices are a little bit higher. Every little speck of land is valuable. So in all the communes, all the villages of Barolo, it's just vines as far as you can see. Every square inch. If you head a little bit east, only about 15-20 minutes. In Barbaresco, there's forests planted in between vineyards. It's not as densely packed with vines. Barolo, I think there's about 2,000 hectares. I think in Barbaresco, there's maybe a third of that. Nebbiolo is a tannic grape. It really makes your mouth feel... I remember giving my dad some Barolo Barbaresco, and he really liked it, and I remember his face saying, but it's really dry. Because of this, Nebbiolo needs long growing seasons. Barbarescos in general are picked about a week before Barolos. The aging requirements in wood are shorter than those of Barolo. For straight Barbarescos, I think they need to be aged 28 months. Barolos are in the 36 to 38 months, give or take a few months. I'll look it up and put the right facts down on the screen. When it comes to fine red wine, Barolo is actually my first love. I remember when I first got into wine a little bit more seriously, I was using the app Vivino in its early days, and I remember taking a picture one time and scanning a wine, and it was taking a long time to upload, and it said, wait a minute, be patient, it's like waiting for Barolo. At the time I didn't know anything about wine. I said, what does that mean? Obviously you go down a rabbit hole, you start tasting, you learn that Barolos in general need to be aged for a long time for the tannins to soften. In the past, Barolos were known for being really hard wines, needed to be aged for 20-30 years before they soften and they're ready to drink. Modern Barolos, Barbarescos, the tannins are a little bit softer, they're easier to drink. I actually find enjoyment nowadays of drinking these wines on the younger side, although of course I prefer these wines with about 5 to 10 for Barbaresco and about 10 for Barolo. And this is my first look at the 2017s. 2016 was a great vintage for both areas. Now I'm going to compare two producers, two wines each of the 2017 vintage. First up, a producer that I've been a fan of for a long time. This is the Paitin Barbaresco Serraboella. It's a single vineyard 2017. These Paitin wines were picked about 7 days before these Barolos from Mauro, Sebaste, so it kind of stayed true to the rule. Guys that put Barbaresco on the map include guys like Gaia Bruno Giacosa, the late Bruno Giacosa, also the cooperative Produttore del Barbaresco, one of the great cooperatives in the world. For Barolo, there's so many names. Vietti is a common name. For collectors, Conterno, those wines are just absolutely stunning, and there's a number of other just really good producers in the region. Go there, check it out, taste from all the different communes of both appellations. Barbaresco, there's like 3 to 4 main communes, whereas in Barolo, I think there's 9 now. I think they extended the communes, either 9 to 11. I'll have to double check on that. What I did to speed along this video is I used my Coravin to take all the wines out and put it into 4 different glasses so I could get this video soon. Makes tastings like this possible. I do have an affiliate link below if you want to check it out. Clicking on that helps support the show. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, click the bell so you know when new videos do come out. The Paitin Serraboella Barolo 2017 is a vintage that's not as heralded as the 2016s. This is my first peek at them. Let's give them a smell here. Classic Nebbiolo flavors. The aromas of Nebbiolo can be so haunting. Stays true. This has leather, cranberry, sour cherry, a little bit of asphalt, like that freshly laid tar. I used to work on roof. I used to be a roofer, and when you lay down hot asphalt and you get that smell, sometimes you get that in Nebbiolo, which I like. Rose petal perfume. Oh, as I spilled a little bit. Hope I didn't hit my mic. It's expensive wine. I gotta suck it. Really bright. This has got, for me, the perfect kind of blend between leatheriness, fruitiness, savoriness. Oh, these good Barolos and Barbaresco, I just want to smell for a long time. Wow. It's a really, really good wine. Wow. For a Nebbiolo-based wine, these tannins are incredibly soft. I mean, they're not really drying. Sometimes these Nebbiolo tannins really start to suck the saliva off your palate. I don't know, like those fruit leathers where they have dried fruit. I think you wrap fresh cherries into a fruit leather, put some leather notes, maybe a little bit of rose petals, stick that in your mouth. It's round, this is long, this is an incredible wine. I usually don't recommend Barbarescos or Barolos for that matter to first-time drinkers because sometimes they can just be a little bit too difficult with all the tannins and the acidity. Oh, my accent light just died. Okay, my accent light just died, so we're gonna do the rest of the show without it. This is the type of wine that I would recommend to somebody trying these wines for the first time. It's easy to drink for this style. Just really gorgeous, complex wine. I'm gonna compare the more standard Barolo, and then I'll compare the two higher level single vineyard. Next up, we have the Mauro Sebaste Trèsüri Barolo 2017. This is a producer that in the past kind of lost his way. They had some problems. They're trying to make a comeback. I had the last vintage at the 2016 Barolos, which were absolutely stellar, fantastic. I'm hoping they can repeat the effort with the 2017s. Let's give this a little bit of a smell. Strangely enough, Barolos are considered to be a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier than Barbarescos. The Paitin was a little bit bigger. This is a little bit more delicate. This wine is blended from 3 different vineyards, by the way. Not as fruity, more earthy, more fall-leaf, kind of like old-world Pinot Noir-esque, Burgundy-type Pinot Noir. That's why Burgundy, I think, lovers flock to this region, because of the different crus, the different vineyards, the rarity of the wines, and the ageability. Rose petal, dried cranberries, not sour cherries, but there are some dried cherries as well. Not as explosive of a nose, kind of more minerally smelling. Color's about the same. Nebbiolo is a grape that doesn't give a lot of color. Super good episode. The wine is just straight up good. There's definitely more tannin, more dryness than the Barbaresco. But it's just really pretty floral wine. I would say I think I prefer the 16. I remember this slightly a little bit more, but still, this is just a gorgeous wine. Really good start. Let's move on. This episode's awesome. That's why I wanted to do this. I'm so excited. We have the Paitin, the Sorì Paitin Serraboella Barbaresco 2017. Sorì Paitin is a little area within the Serraboella vineyard. I know, Italians and their label names. I know it makes it confusing for consumers, but that's what it is. This is the more reserved wine of the two. Let's give this a little bit of a smell, shall we? This is a little more tight than the standard Barbaresco. And what I mean by that, it's not as, the aromas aren't as explosive. Let me give it some air here. Now it says perfume really comes out. Perfume and rose petals come out before the fruit. There's a lot more under this. This is a baby that needs a lot of air. That's why if you drink these wines young, make sure you decant them. Lots of floral characteristics, more earthy, more savory. There are some dried cranberry, sour cherry, even a little bit of red cherry type fruits in this wine. Wow, a lot going on here. A little bit of tobacco, really complex stuff. This is not as fruity as the Serraboella Barbaresco, but my goodness, is it long? There's lots of complexities here. This is the type of wine you put away in the cellar for a little bit longer. I think if you're buying something to bring home, drink tonight, maybe you go for the standard Serraboella. I think that's going to give you a lot of drinking pleasure if you have it today. And it's less expensive, so that might be a better choice. Really good stuff. Let's move on. This is the Mauro Sebaste Cerreta Barolo 2017. It is a single vineyard in the commune of Serralunga de Alba. The wines from Serralunga are known to be a little bit more powerful, a little more tannic, a little bit more quote-unquote age-worthy. This vineyard, though, is known for producing wines that are a little bit softer than the typical Serralunga style. This has an incredible nose. Just a ridiculous nose. Tar is the first. Tar and rubber, leather, sour cherry just jump out of here. I know that I keep repeating some of the same descriptors. They are kind of similar flavors, but sometimes either the rose petal or the perfume will jump out more, or the fruit will jump out more. A little bit of mocha. Oh, it's gorgeous stuff. just really good round complex. These are really thinking wines. So much complexity. The acidity is there, length. What I'm really impressed with, I know 2017 was a warmer vintage. You know, the wines aren't, you know, critics say maybe they're not as age worthy. But that for consumers, that's a good thing. That means the tans are a little bit riper. Maybe you can drink them like all these. I would have no problem drinking now. Just a fantastic wine. My goodness. So first, I loved all four. The ones that stood out to me, I think I prefer a little bit more the Cerreta, so the more expensive wine, was the best of these two. And actually, in the Barbaresco, the Serraboella is one that I'd probably recommend to you because you can drink it. It's a little bit easier to drink right away, whereas the Sorì Paitin, you have to put it in the cellar and stow it away for a few years. I think the Sorì Paitin is a better wine, but maybe to enjoy right away, especially if you're getting into Barbaresco, the Paitin standard Serraboella is a great choice for you. I think I've seen it around the world for around $30 to $35, and it's a great deal. So that's the beautiful thing about these wines. You can see how excited I got about these wines, but man, when Nebbiolo is done right, like we see here, the wines can be just absolutely magical. So tell me, do you prefer Barolo or Barbaresco? What are your favorite producers? I'd love to hear. Leave it in the comments below. Thanks for putting up with my down accent light, and I'll see you soon.
Hello, thanks for watching.
Hey, you made it to the end. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you know when new videos are out. If you like content like this, check out our Patreon page where you get some behind the scenes exclusive content. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.